If you think about it, you've got pronouncements, the president of Turkey says stuff about Bitcoin. People are asking the premier of Russia whether they'll accept Bitcoin. People want to know from central bankers what they think about Bitcoin. When's the last time somebody asked a government their opinion of Apple stock,
Right.
or whether you should invest in the Vanguard 500 index, or whether you should invest in gold or silver or any other stock or options trading, or whether you should put your money in a money market? Nobody cares about any of those things. The only thing they care about is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is sucking the oxygen out of the room. And good news is good news, and bad news is good news. And as long as you keep talking about it, it's a good thing. So now you have the entire government, in essence, saying it's just so good, we're a little bit afraid of it. And then you have people like the Ray Dalio saying, yeah, well, what's your problem with it? Well, it's just so perfect that I'm sure that somebody will want to stop it or ban it because it's too perfect. Look, Bitcoin is the most stable, highest form, highest value property in the world right now, right? So trading Bitcoin for something else is trading from the apex property, the best property, to an inferior property. So I can imagine scenarios where I borrowed against billions of dollars of Bitcoin to buy some other property that I wanted. There are other good properties, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are other things, right? I won't dispute that owning the stock of a great company is not a good thing. I would just say that there's no better thing than owning pure digital energy on the dominant crypto asset network. So I wouldn't sell it, because that implies you're trading something for something better. Well, there is nothing better. So I wouldn't do that. We spent a lot of time getting educated on the issue before we bought our first Bitcoin, right? That was an in-depth process of education. We consulted with experts. We studied, we read the books, we considered the accounting implications, we considered the legal implications, we considered the business implications, we considered the securities implications. And then, every week since then, we have considered every development in the market and how we feel about it. So I think the board takes this very seriously, but clearly it's not like you would buy billions of dollars of this and then ask the question to the board, what do you think, right? Right. This is a strategy of the company. It's disclosed in our 10K. We have two principal strategies. One strategy is to acquire and hold Bitcoin, right? So in a publicly traded company, you would have consensus on the board before you did something like that. And that only comes with extensive due diligence. I was an early shareholder of Facebook. I was an early shareholder of Twitter. I was an early shareholder of Google. If you had dumped the shares of Google, Facebook, and Twitter in 2010 because you heard that China was going to ban it, you would have lost
a lot of money. Yeah.
Obscene amounts of money. Trillions of dollars have been made on technologies banned by China. So I think that what China does is largely irrelevant here. And of course, it's kind of getting to be laughable because like every quarter for the past 5, 6, 7 years, there's been a China banning thing. So I don't really think that's that relevant. I think with regard to Bitcoin, if you wouldn't hold it for a decade, you shouldn't hold it for 10 minutes. So I think these things aren't good for speculators. I don't think you should be a speculator if you're a normal person. If you're a trader, maybe traders love it or hate it. I don't know, but you shouldn't be a trader. You're either an investor or you're a saver. If you're a saver, you're swapping a weak currency or a weak property for a strong property and a strong currency. And that's one way to view Bitcoin macroeconomically, moving toward the strong apex property. And if you're a technologist, you're buying the dominant digital monetary network with this view that one day, 8 billion people will be swapping energy via mobile phones with 100 million companies at the speed of light, subject to Moore's law, with computer programs thinking very fast. So you would buy it because you believe in digital property, digital energy, digital money. right? And you believe in the philosophy of an anti-inflationary asset. And if that's the reason you're doing it, then it doesn't really matter what happens day by day, week by week, month by month. I actually think if you look at every statement by a central banker or by regulators, they're pretty clear. Bitcoin is property. Bitcoin is a commodity. I'll give you the exact quote. Bitcoin is a digital, scarce, speculative store of value, unquote. If you took away the word speculative and you said Bitcoin is a digital, scarce store of value, right? Then that suggests that all $500 trillion in the world should be converted to Bitcoin overnight. So you have to add the word speculative in order to actually create any competition at all. And I don't think there's any debate. I mean, Christina Lagarde has said that. Jerome Powell has said that. Gary Gensler has said that. I think Janet Yellen has said that. I think the people in Congress and the Senate have said that. Right. So I haven't seen any regulator actually debate that Bitcoin is a digital store of value. And so it's speculative. That means be careful and think about it when you buy it. No one's talking about taking away your ability to hold digital property, not in Western Europe, not in the United States. I think all the regulatory FUD is around, is it okay for me to not pay taxes if I sell $1 billion of Bitcoin with a $900 million tax gain? No. Is it okay for me to transfer $1 billion to someone and not disclose it and not pay taxes on it? No. Right? I mean, can I issue $1 billion of yo-yo coin, to my friends and call it a currency and a token and a commodity and not file a regulatory disclosure on who owns it? And the answer is no. Right. So, so I think that that the regulations coming to securities and its regulation related to, are you abiding by securities laws? Are you abiding by tax laws? And that kind of compliance will continue. But digital property in the form of Bitcoin isn't really disputed by anybody. If you looked at the Senate hearings they had last week, there was broad-based consensus. Every single senator, their body language and what they said indicated that they're supportive of Bitcoin and the crypto industry in general. Everybody just wants it to be regulated appropriately. And I think the regulators have agreed. So I'm not really concerned about that. I think that the narratives in the FUD are spread by traders and speculators, and it'll be worked out.